Welcome to Communion, our podcast about making it happen. Within the podcast, as a series, we always like to open up our projects and introduce people who maybe have not yet done a project to the joys and sometimes the lesser joys of running a project. One of the things I often say is an architectural project is really about the destination. People don't generally do it for the journey. However, there are some high points on the journey, and it is a fascinating journey. And what's really, really beautiful is the ability to be able to sit with our clients in finished projects and actually spend some time reviewing the design, reviewing what works, reviewing and learning from that, and also being able to pass that forward. And today we're with Rod and Rosie in their beautiful, ancient, listed farmhouse, which we worked with them in order to design a new kitchen living space. And that is always a really interesting project, being able to take something that's old, look at all the issues, create a design that everyone is happy with, and then take it through the various stages of detailed design and construction on site and everything that brings. To be able to then sit in the space and enjoy the space and enjoy the context, the wider Herefordshire life that we are involved in our practice. And so we invite you today to come and sit with ourselves and enjoy a conversation with Rod and Rosie about their new kitchen living space. So Rod, Rosie, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
We're sitting in your beautiful kitchen living area. I guess the natural place to start is, where did it start for you? Why do you do a project such as this?
Well,
because we got fed up with having a row of cans on top of the arbour if the roof was leaking.
Oh, really?
And I thought, well, if we're going to have to repair the roof, which was in a very bad state, then why not make the most of it and turn the kitchen, because the kitchen was very dark before.
very dark.
It
was a little bit small for us.
And so we decided if we were going to have to change the roof, then we'd much rather make the kitchen a bit bigger at the same time.
Indeed.
Tell us a little bit about the building itself. So the kitchen is part of a historic listed building.
This used to be the old dairy, we think, on the farm. And the room at the back that we used as a side was the kitchen with an old-fashioned ranging, but that was all changed before we moved here.
It's got a long history. It's 17th century origins, 1650 timber frame as a snug lounge, and is the basis of the house. And every owner has obviously put their stamp on it and added a bit, and it's that sort of classic Herefordshire farmhouse where they got a bit of money from the wool wealth in the 19th century, but 18th century, and spent a bit of money on a posh frontage, which is what you call that. So this is probably our stamp on it. This is the biggest project we've done really in the house, and so we've put our stamp on the house, ready to pass it on to the next generation of owners.
You started, you thought about it. Then there was the idea of obviously looking to work with an architect. Why did you do that? Has it been something you'd done before? Why? What was the key drivers before?
Well, the roof is very complex, as you know, because you designed it, and so there's no way we could do that. We felt we had to get an architect in to design the space. I mean, we wanted to make it special as well, so we wanted to get lots more light in, and the roof is really quite challenging how to do that. So we couldn't conceive a DIY job. I've done them, but not this one.
And in choosing architects, they're always a bit of a strange bunch as a collective.
So I had worked with an architect before because we converted the old school at Bromyard.
Okay.
And that was not really quite such a fundamental alteration.
We'd toyed with this over the years. We'd had this project in our minds for about 10 years. And actually we did get some cheaper. He wasn't even an architect, he was an architectural technician, I think. And he came up with a design which we just, and we had a succession of these ideas produced on sketches, and none of them seemed right. So we thought we'd get a proper architect in this time.
You did coach an architect.
We had an architect in Ledbury, I think it was. And we just didn't like what he did, basically. So we thought we'd try again.
Okay. And it is a hard thing. I mean, I find it a bit challenging. You know, you've got all these things going on. It's all working with people in their homes. It's a very special place. It's a special building. It's a listed building.
Yeah.
We had a very complicated roof, as you said, so the technical challenges were there. Obviously, we're sitting here, so something that we did appealed. What was it that made that process successful for yourselves in terms of bringing a design together?
I like the idea of the virtual reality run through of what you designed. I mean, that helped bring it to life. And you know, we were very keen to create more light and get a feeling of space in here. And we were astonished when we saw the 3D run through. It was just, we just thought, wow, yeah, is that what we're going to get? Fantastic. We'll have that. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's so good to hear, because it is a lot of work to go into those.
I've been used to that in that sort of technology, which is just coming into fruition before I retired in my profession. And so it's wonderful to see a practical application for something I sort of half understood. And to go outside as well, and you know, have the aerial view and zooming in and flying through the space was just amazing.
Brilliant. No, I mean,
wowed.
I mean, we held off on that for a little while, but for me, especially, I mean, in the first stage, getting the plan and the key drawings together is fundamental. But then, when we've gone through the detailed design stage, in order to give people confidence, this is what it's going to be like, because it's going to be a lot of money, it's going to be some upheaval.
Yeah.
You know, I want people to be sure and to sign off design decisions with confidence. Yes, that is what we want. So I think that it's such an important part of the journey.
Oh dear, and it works particularly well in we've got the complexity of the roof. We've also got, it is in the square space. It's not
a straight line, is it?
It's such an odd.
To the rest of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, quite.
It's very key straight.
No. Yeah.
So, it's much easier, I'm sure, in a square base or a rectangular or a box to envisage what you're doing. But when you've got all sorts of different angles and slopes involved, it helped enormously.
The biggest surprise was that we weren't allowed to have a Georgian orangery type building there that we thought would just fit in with the Georgian face of the house.
Yeah, they initially wanted much more glass than we were actually happy with. So we wanted a windowsill where we could put things. There wasn't a windowsill in the original design, but so I think we persuaded you to adjust it. Yeah, the metal frame is very good. Yeah.
And a part of the design that sort of came together with me was this, where we're sitting now, was a big garden wall, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And the kitchen was one side, the wall, and then there's a beautiful garden with the view the other side.
Well, we've just done the terrace. We just spent some money on the terrace.
Yeah.
We wanted to make more of that.
Yeah. So I mean, within our sort of architectural journey, there's always our stage one, which is about the initial design and getting consent. We had to get listed building consent here. Then there's our stage two, which is all about the details, getting the details right, going out to tenders, getting the prices back, all the way up to, great, going to work with this contractor, and for this amount of money. And then stage three is all of the site work. Any particular points along any of those journeys that have seared themselves into your memory, or you?
Well, I think everything was going smoothly until COVID.
It was a constant project.
The slight challenge for us is that we lost our kitchen, and there was no obvious place to do it. Replace the kitchen elsewhere. You take the utility room was affected because the roof was coming off that, so we couldn't move into the utility room for the kitchen. So we basically got a caravan to
Forgot
for a
about
friend of ours to plant ourselves in. It was a lambing caravan.
George's lambing kit in the one end, but it was quite dramatic, really, because they took the roof off, slapped the walls down, and then they all disappeared.
Because
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
they demolished 2 weeks to demolish. So it starts at the beginning of March.
Yep.
They demolished it,
Yeah,
took the
that's
roof
right.
off.
Yeah.
So there was no going back.
No.
And then COVID happened. They didn't know what the heck they were doing.
No.
So they went away for 2 weeks
Yeah.
to scratch their heads.
Well, I think we it was in the time during the first lockdown, and I remember no one knew what to do.
We were locked down.
we're locked down, and then I think
That could
it
have
was,
been the end of the project.
well, there was just a lot of from day to day we didn't know what we were doing, and then it was decided, no, you have to stop, and the building suppliers all closed down, so nothing happened.
That's right.
And then they eased for construction, and then
They tentatively came back, 2 or 3
social
of them, and then
distancing.
gradually,
Very reduced team.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Because basically, Mikey didn't come back
no,
because he
it was
He was very
Vulnerable.
vulnerable.
yeah.
So they gradually got going again, and I mean they were working out, so going along the health and safety and the social distancing and building. I don't know how you do that really, but they did it somehow.
Yeah, they did it. Bubbles and social distance.
But it did lengthen
Fresh
the
air.
project, which is a frustrating thing. It didn't matter for us because we were in the caravan in the summer,
Yes,
and it was a nice summer. I remember.
it was a good summer.
So we were, it was fine, but then nothing to do with no problem with the way it was managed. It was just it was lengthened out the project because of COVID and the slowness and the way it started.
on the problems of the route.
And they did have a few issues in actually following your design, I think. But they worked it out eventually. But it was all a bit delayed. It was, and we went from where we should have been finished in August, went into December.
Yeah. It was a long
We
week.
had not wanted to be in the caravan.
In December, no.
Cooking and eating in the caravan in winter
Wet.
is not part of the plan.
We were allowed to inhabit the space the week before Christmas.
Yes.
2020.
In control. Yeah, we took occupation, didn't we? In terms of sort of moving all the way through, we're sitting here now. You've been in the house for almost a couple of years.
It's December. It's 2.5 years, isn't it? Yeah, almost. Yeah, 2.5 years.
How time flies, I guess.
Yeah.
How has it worked out? What's been the key difference that it's made to your lives?
Brilliant. I mean, just look at the space. We just love living in this part of the house, and we've got a huge house, 6-7 bedrooms, but this is where we spend most of our time.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, really.
But when we've built a family here, which happens quite a lot for my grandchildren and parents, and they all pile in. I mean, as you said, during COVID, Sarah and the children lived here, so they're so fan. And the breakfast bar up there and everything, it just works so well. They come in, help themselves, and having a big table and not having to climb around the table to get to the sink when you've been cooking makes life so much easier. This huge unit in the middle.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big island. Because you had a some butcher's block or something in your form.
A butcher's block, yeah.
So talk to me about because I'm very keen on islands within kitchens because it sort of turns you around.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
But then I decided it was the way forward. But I don't, and because we've been looking at houses, we keep going into houses which are supposed to be the ultimate. And they look like hospital wards. Everything's built in.
Yeah.
There's no irregular, don't even have handles. You just have touch drawers and streamlined setting, no Aga, no soft enough, nothing old fashioned. And I just find that rather depressing and clinical.
Because you commissioned the kitchen and worked with them, and it's beautiful, isn't it?
Well, I'm very pleased.
So particular points of, if there's one or two features about the design that you particularly enjoy. What would they be?
This window sitting here. And also, you can sit in the slide up there in the evening where I sit. I can see all the way down to the end of the trap.
All the way through that kitchen.
All the way through the kitchen, all the way down. Yeah.
I think the light, the stealing of space and light. And we're very lucky to have these sort of views to look out on. Not many people do, but I think we made the most of that, and we're almost sitting in the garden. Yeah, while we're looking out there. So no, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I like the light works because we've got 3 different aspects with the roof light. We've got the doors out onto the front terrace and this bay protrudes through the wall. I do like the way that we're sitting in the garden.
Yes,
because it was the space. The kitchen was a long way away from the garden, even though it was next door.
It was. I mean, and it wasn't terribly accessible. They couldn't sit and look at it. Traditionally, they never used to site houses, did they? The view. They were more concerned about the weather.
Yeah.
I mean, the wind. Until you're upstairs, there's no actual views in the house other than the air now.
And this house is on top of the
top of the God Almighty hill.
Yeah, and I guess you probably get some God Almighty weather up here as well.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do, and we do notice the rain. Yeah, it's quite a noisy area. Yeah, the rain. We don't mind that. I'd like to be close to the elements. Yeah, and so we certainly hear it on the roof, on the tin roof.
On the tin roof, yeah. No, fantastic. And with the glass on the tin roof, you hear it then. But I like that as well.
We do like
it. I like it at night. Because you look up, you can see the stars.
Yeah,
see the moon if it's in the right place. And if you come in here with no lights on, sometimes it's just full of moonlight. Which is great.
I've recently heard you're moving on to pastures new.
Yeah.
Going to live with your daughter down in beautiful Devon.
Another
beautiful part of the world. So, I mean, it's you aren't the first people that this house has provided shelter to. You obviously not going to be the last. Tell us a bit about that, because part of looking after listed buildings is a certain level of custodianship, but also passing what you've done on to the next person. What's been the reaction? How does it feel to do that in terms of the journey you've been on, and then you've paid it forward for the next person, really?
Well, ideally, we would have probably spent a few more years here enjoying this space, having invested all that money in it. Yeah. But we are where we are, and the timing is right for us to move now. But as I said, I think this is our stamp we put on it. It's a modern extension, contemporary, I think they say. Given it a contemporary feel when the rest of the house has sort of middle age parts of it, the 17th century origins, and then there's the 19th century, 20th century. Everybody's put their stamp on it. So in the 21st century, we certainly put our stamp on it, and we were warned that actually it might not be an investment. I disagree. I think this it gives the house this part of the house a bit of star quality, a wow factor, and I'm sure that's helped get so much interest in the house that we've had recently.
How about you, Rosie? Your thoughts about moving?
Oh, well, as I said before, we've had that kitchen with us.
Yeah.
It is going to work like that. We are not finding it very easy to find anywhere, but can really live up to this place. We're never going to get a view of a kitchen like this, and we're moving to a much more expensive area, which
it's a little more expensive than Devon,
yeah. So we keep looking, but we've had a lot of interest in this place, and I know who I would prefer to buy it, regardless of
what sort of person you're sort of
a family.
Yeah,
They've got 5 daughters, and they come from a farming background, and they want to be somewhere rural.
Is it worth it? Why would you do it? Your experience? What would your advice be?
Get a budget as big as you think you need for a start. So add 20% to it at least. Because yes, the budget was a little bit over what we wanted to spend. I think it's worth it. I think we'll get it back as because we regard it as an investment. I think just plan it carefully.
Well, thank you very, very much for your time. Thank you for working with Canadian Architects. I think that it is absolutely a beautiful, beautiful kitchen and living space.
Pleased with it.
No, really pleased with it. I mean, I like, in terms of, some of my favorite parts, I love the roof light. I love the way that you can see the timber frame rising from the inside. I love we did some big overhangs on this project.
Yes, we do like the timber overhang. Yes,
and it's got a sort of muscular quality, which I think that the overall the size of the house requires. It didn't want anything too lightweight. As you say, sitting in this is such an important part of the overall space, and I think truly is a living space. But it also takes us back to our Herefordshire farmhouse kitchen.
Yeah,
I grew up in one of those, and everything happened in the kitchen. And so it's a slightly, it's very much within the tradition. You've got the kitchen, you've got the Arga, you've got the table, you've got the chair, you've got the view. You're overlooking, some of the most beautiful countryside in the world, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to get better than that, really, isn't it?
Quite.
So, no, good. And thank you. It's been, with all of our projects, there's definitely a journey that we all go on. And I think that's what's exciting. We don't quite know before we start, we don't know what we're going to do. Then we get a certain amount of clarity, but it is the ability to sit in the space in the end that really makes it special.
Thank you for taking us through that, holding our hands through that journey.
That was a pleasure.
We were very, very pleased the way it worked out.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you, and thank you for both, and good luck in your new, in Past is New.
Thank you.
Send us a postcard.